The Vesta Turbine 2.0 is here, and I should probably clarify something. It uses the Corsair Air 540 case, which is not turbine-like in volume or noise, but it is definitely turbine-like in cooling potential. Now, because so much of the awesome airflowness of this particular system is achievable because of the case, we're going to spend a fair bit of time talking about the Air 540 case from Corsair. So at the front of the case, there are two vertical 5 1/4 inch bays. Don't worry, those of you who aren't sure about this. See, old people like me know this already, but if you put the discs in sideways, there are little retention clips. Your discs will not fall out, although this particular system doesn't include an optical by default. Two USB 3.0 ports, a headphone and microphone jack, a power switch with an integrated LED, as well as a hard drive activity LED and a reset switch round out the front I/O, and other than that, all you see is a nice, clean, ventilated strip, which has a Corsair logo right in the middle of it. When you move up to the top of the case, normally we go to the side first, but in this case, it's a continuation of that same strip that allows for very solid ventilation through the side of the case that contains all of the heat-producing components. When we move over to the right-hand panel, we find not a whole lot to talk about other than those grills right there. That is where the power supply is going to be able to breathe from, because that is on the other side. And then, moving to the left side panel, we find a massive window that covers pretty much the entire case, and in this case it is a good thing, because normally when you have a full panel side window, it's going to catch all kinds of ugly stuff like the power supply wires or the 5 1/4 inch bays or all those things that don't look nice. No, not in this case, because they are all hidden on the other side of the cube case. So this is just your motherboard, your sexy graphics cards, your cooling fans, your radiators, and all the good stuff that you want to see. Moving around to the back of the case, we find a 140mm cooling fan. Corsair actually includes their Air Series L or Light Edition, so they don't have the rubber grommets in the corners, they don't have the interchangeable rings, but they include their Air Series fans with this case, so they're better than the fans you'll get in most cases. The back I/O is provided by a Maxima 6 Hero board, so that's a PS2 keyboard mouse combo port, two USB 2.0 ports, a USB BIOS flashback button, optical audio out, HDMI out, 4 USB 3.0 ports, gigabit Intel Ethernet, as well as 7.1 audio out, and boom! Down there we find two GTX 770s for a total of 8 outputs. Remember, an individual one of these cards supports 3D Vision Surround with 3 monitors and an auxiliary display. Now it's time to get inside the Turbine 2.0, which is where we find all the goodies. So 4 thumb screws are required to take this case apart, because we're going to have to access both sides in order to really get the measure of what's going on here. So why don't we do, you know what? I teased you with that side, but we're going to do the boring side first. This is the side where the components that you don't want to see are going to be hiding away in their little hidey holes. So we're going to take off that side panel, and the first thing you'll probably notice on this side is the power supply. So the power supply is oriented so that it can take air in directly from those ventilation holes in the side. The next thing you might notice is check out this stackable SSD arrangement. Basically, you just pop these apart, slide SSDs into them, and then pop them back together. So there's 4 of those there. And in terms of 3.5 inch mounting options, there actually aren't a lot. I'm going to show you where they are on the other side of the case. You've also got a 5 1/4 inch bay, and then a ton of room to hide various cables and all kinds of good stuff like that. What you might notice about the AX860i power supply that's in here right now is that it's got a Corsair Link cable, so full support for Corsair Link. And what you might also notice is that fan isn't spinning. Don't worry, it's not defective. This particular power supply supports Corsair's 0 RPM fan functionality, which basically means that when the system's idling, that fan is not on. So you get optimal silent operation. Moving around to the other side, we find a whole lot more Corsair and ASUS components, which is a common theme with the high quality, high price systems at NCIX because they really do make awesome stuff. Starting with the CPU, which is a Core i7-4770K 4th generation Intel series processor, and the H100i that is cooling it. That also has full integration with Corsair Link, and you can see that it has been upgraded, so it is using the integrated fans that came with the case, as well as 2 static pressure optimized fans. And when I say case, I meant the radiator, the actual cooling unit itself, as well as 2 pressure optimized Corsair SP series fans in push-pull, so you're going to be able to keep it nice and cool and get things overclocking pretty good in here. Next up, there's 16 gigs of Corsair Dominator Platinum memory. Remember, these are the ones that can actually be swapped out with different light bars and all kinds of cool stuff like that as an aftermarket modding trick. And then we've got a Corsair Maxima 6 Hero board. The board itself is only a $220 standalone, and what you're essentially getting is an ROG class board optimized for gaming, not necessarily extreme overclocking like something like a Maxima 6 Extreme, but you get game first packet prioritization on the LAN that's built in. You get a much better than normal onboard audio solution with Redline audio, so that's their Supreme FX concept, which means you get better codec support, you get an on-screen indicator that shows you where sounds are coming from in surround, which is actually kind of cool, and you get that isolation from the rest of the components on the PCB, which means less interference. And moving on down, we've got 2 DirectCU 2 GTX 770 graphics cards running an SLI. Remember, ASUS's DirectCU series cards use fully custom PCBs, so they are non-reference cards, fully custom coolers. They do run cooler, they do run quieter, and they do overclock better, from my personal experience, than reference cards. Finally, we make it down to the bottom where there's a Neutron GTX 240 gig SSD mounted in one of the 3.5-inch or 2.5-inch cages down here. Those are the only options for 3.5-inch drives in this case. However, if you got creative, I'm sure there's more that you could do. Which leads us finally to the lighting effects provided by BitPhoenix Alchemy strips, as well as why it cools so well. No obstacles. The front fans are right there, blowing directly on the graphics cards, directly bringing fresh air over to the radiator to exhaust it out the top or exhaust it out the back. That is what makes the Air 540 a great case, whether you want to throw a water cooling radiator in the front or leave it the way it is with air cooling or put a radiator in the top. The choice is yours. So this is an expensive system, but you get a lot for your money. So you get the latest Intel Core i7 processor, 4th gen, all that good stuff. You get 2 GTX 770s and SLI, which means it'll outperform any single card solution, that's for sure. And you get a bunch of value add extras. So it's that usual thing. So the bundle for this system actually comes to a total of about $280 worth. Splinter Cell Blacklist. You get Metro Last Light, Just Cause 2, Mafia 2, Borderlands 2, the $75 of free-to-play credit from NVIDIA, and finally an ASUS Compromises for Losers t-shirt. Then it gets doubled up. You get 2 of each, so if you buy one of these systems for yourself, you'll be able to play any one of those games with a friend, and you'll be able to wear matching t-shirts wherever you go. Thank you for checking out this Systems edition of NCIX Tech Tips. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this from ncix.com.